Wednesday Wanderers, it's Ranger Erin again, and we're asking the question, what is honey? And I hope that everybody watching has tasted honey before because it's some of the most delicious stuff we have in the world. And it's made by our very own bees and wasps. That's right, you probably knew that it came from honeybees. That's where we get most of our honey that we use in our houses, but lots of types of bees and lots of types of wasps all make honey too. So what it is it's just food storage. So they don't have refrigerators and things like that they can save food for later. So what they do is that they make honey so that their whole hive will survive through the winter. Because what do bees eat? But they eat pollen and nectar from flowers, and there's no pollen and no nectar, no flowers in the winter. So they're storing that food for later on so that they can survive through the whole winter long and feed all of the young bees and feed their queen and so on. But it's a really weird process. So they don't do things like we do them. What they do is they send out lots and lots of worker bees, maybe some wasps. They'll go out and they will find all of the delicious nectar in those plants. And they're gonna suck it up. So they're actually gonna drink it and take it into their body. And they've got two stomachs. So one's for them eating and one is for nectar storage. So they'll suck up a bunch of nectar and they'll fill up their honey stomach where they've got some special juices. They're called enzymes in there that are gonna help to make the honey later on. So they're actually drinking that nectar, storing it in their belly, and then they're going back to the hive. Now here's where it gets even weirder. All right, they've gotta get that nectar back up. So they're gonna throw it up. Gross, right? You eat that, but it's delicious. They throw it up, and when they throw it up, they blow it into bubbles. And that's gonna help to get all of that water out of there. Because when you discover nectar later on today, when you go out on your hike and look for nectar, you're gonna see it's very juicy. But that's not what honey is like. Honey is really thick. So they've gotta get rid of a lot of that water. So they're gonna blow those bubbles and they're gonna heat it up with their body so they're all kind of close in together and they're warming up this honey production area, and they're gonna make all of that water evaporate. So it's gonna go off into the air and it's gonna leave behind that really thick honey. Now honey is some amazing stuff. They have found honey from thousands and thousands of years ago that's still good. As long as it isn't exposed to the air, it'll stay good as long as possible. So that's some pretty cool stuff. So after they're finished making that honey, they heat it up, they're blowing those bubbles. They're gonna go ahead and they're gonna seal it off in those wax combs. So again, they can't do things like we do. They don't have glass jars or plastic Tupperware and stuff like that, but they can make wax. So they can seal that off so no air can get in there, can't make it go bad, can't make it pick up more water and stuff like that. So hopefully I haven't turned you off of honey right after this video. I do want you to eat some honey because it is delicious stuff.
For your outdoor activity today, you're going to take a look at all the flowers and see if you can see bees that are pollinating them and sucking out all that sweet nectar. Then you're going to pick a few of those flowers and you're going to dissect them. So you're going to cut them apart in order to find that nectar yourself. So I like to do the tube-shaped ones because I find that they act like little bowls. I like to kind of cut off the end with my fingernail and see if I can see a little pool of liquid in there. So this one's not a really juicy one. Different flowers will be different. Oh, that one's got a big droplet of nectar. So we don't want to drink any of these nectars because some of these flowers can be poisonous to us, but go ahead and discover, and maybe you'll notice that those bees like to go and visit the flowers that are really juicy.
I've got another experiment for you this week. We're going to be playing around with honey crystallizing. So if you've ever had a jar of honey that you left in the cupboard for a really long time, maybe even years, and there's just big chunks of sugar crystals in there, we're going to try and figure out how is that affected by water and things like that. So you're going to need 5 containers labeled 1 through 5. So I went ahead and labeled these 1 through 5. You're going to need a freezer some water, a tablespoon, a teaspoon, and some honey. So I've already gone ahead and labeled all of my jars 1 through 5, and inside of each jar I've got 1 tablespoon of honey. So I've already got that prepared, but you can measure that out in each one of your containers. 1 through 5, each gets 1 tablespoon of honey, and then we're going to add 1 teaspoon of water to number 1. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of water to number 2. We're going to add 3 teaspoons of water to number 3. Probably guess it's going to be 4 teaspoons of water for number 4. And then no water for number 5. So absolutely no water in there. You can use your spoon to mix that up until it's all nice and smooth. So we're making these water mixtures. And once you get finished preparing all of that, you're going to put all 5 of these jars in the freezer. And you're going to set your timer for 2 minutes. And every 2 minutes I want you to go and check on your water and honey mixtures. And I want you to see which one is going to start to crystallize first. And I won't do that. I'm going to let you do this experiment on your own, and then you can always email me, tell me whatever you found out, which one crystallized first. All right, well, thanks for joining me. As always, if you've got any wonders, doesn't even have to be about today's topic, you can send them in to me. I'd love to hear and talk with you. I'll see you all next time.